Thank you for this wonderful brief, this pitch. I had a lot of fun creating an idea around it, so I hope you like it. Here it is. The yearly astrological event of the summer solstice and William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream have actually always, in my mind, been thematically and mystically linked, not only by name, because fittingly, the event of Midsummer, which was an Old English festival, marked the summer solstice. And I think it's a unique opportunity to perform this classic comedy on a summer solstice. And I think the perfect setting is Dove Lake, shadowed by Cradle Mountain on the beach. And I think this equal part evocative but also rustic setting matches the thematic and narrative structure of the piece. So taking place on the summer solstice in Australia, which will be December the 21st, the performance will begin at 7:30 at night, and I will still be in the light. So as the performance progresses and the night becomes dimmer, fairy lighting, rigged to flash from sharp turquoises to dramatic reds, will grow brighter, and that'll light the stage and the wild surroundings. The performance will take place on the beach, while the audience is going to be seated on safe but also slightly dilapidated looking wooden seating overlooking it. And so that micro amphitheatre of the beach and the seating will be mirrored by the macro counterpart, which will be the mountains and the lake. The sand and the water will be used to many different effects. So the fairies and the magical creatures will move through the water as if it is sort of the same as the land. Titania's and Oberon's entrance sees them rising out of the water. So them and their retinue will be under upturned boats further out in the bay, and they'll rise out. The nobles will ride onto shore in boats, which sort of represents their at least initial disconnect from the magic, which the uneasy water represents. And Puck, who is the most chaotic character, but also the main controller of the narrative, is going to habitually and nervously create symbols and markings in the sand. So literally molding the setting to his will, but in a way that implies his or their or her flighty and disordered nature. The intended audience for this production will be varied. Cradle Mountain at that time of year is popular, with locals and tourists alike flocking to enjoy the atmospheric hiking trails and communal wooded resorts. With the days long and the nights warm, the news of an outdoor theatrical production, I think, would draw even more crowds to the hotels and the camps than usual, and actually create marketing opportunities throughout Tasmania's tourist organisations. So the prevailing atmosphere when the spectators step off the buses taking them to the lake will be one of otherworldliness. So whenever they experience this, however they experience this, whether that be through like a sense of shifting time or space, that'll depend on each onlooker's unique perception. So the whole experience, including pre-show, post-show, and interval, it should feel transformative and transitory. So Midsummer the Festival and Midsummer the Play are both shrouded in themes of transformation, whether that be literal in whether that be literal in Nick Bottom's sake, or spiritual, really. In terms of how the actual performance will facilitate this feeling, it'll be presented and acted like a breaking point. Because I think the end of an emotional era is often a hard transition. So there should be a rising tension in the vocalization and the physicalization of the actors. The performance will begin naturalistically with the lovers and the nobles being figures that the audience can relate to and see themselves in. And as the story progresses and the mechanicals and the lovers get drawn into the forest and the world of the fairies, I want the vocalization and the physicalization to become heightened, showing these characters at their most tightly wound and affected. And by the end of the production, while Puck is proclaiming that perhaps the whole story was a dream, a sense of calm in both the lighting, sound, and acting should befall the stage, implying a sort of calm after a storm, an entrance to a new phase of life with a different outlook. And I want the audience to feel that as well, because I feel like in the dark of the night after the sun has set and the longest day has set, and the characters have been stripped down to their most human level and built up for a new era. I want bonfires to be lit. Mulled wine will be handed out, which is like a warm reminder that the nights also will just get longer after this night. And in interval and after the show, the audience is encouraged to wander on the beach and move the paths that the characters did and see and feel what they felt. And as the buses take the guests back to their hotels, they should feel a sense of a new beginning, which is elicited out of an ancient and relived ritual. So that's my idea. And I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you for listening, and thank you for this opportunity.